Have you ever felt like your brain and body were running on too much input? Like a phone with too many apps open, battery draining fast? So today we're going to talk about nervous system overload, what it is, why noticing it early matters, and the 5 early warning signs to watch for so you can get support before things escalate. Your nervous system is the body's information highway. It registers everything from sight and sound to emotion and bodily sensations and decides whether to relax, focus, or gear up for danger. Overload happens when that system is pushed beyond its capacity by stress, trauma, chronic illness, sleep loss, or an accumulation of smaller pressures, and it starts sending distress signals. Recognizing these signs early gives you options. You can rest, assess, or get professional help rather than burn out. Okay, real talk. Have you ever had that moment where you realize you've been running on fumes for so long that you actually forgot what it feels like to not be exhausted? Like you wake up tired, you go to bed wired, and somewhere in between you're just like holding on with duct tape and Sprite. Yeah, that was me about 15 years ago, and it's also about 90% of the people who end up working with me. So today we're going to talk about something most people don't catch until they're already face down on the floor: nervous system overload. You know, visiting the emergency room, waking up in the middle of the night, heart palpitating. So we're going to cover 5 early warning signs that show up before the full breakdown, why your body sends these signals in the first place, and what to actually do about it. Because here's the thing. By the time you're in crisis mode, you've usually been in trouble for months. Your body has been telling you, but we're all so good at ignoring it until we physically can't anymore. So let's change that. Before we dive in, quick context on who I am and why I'm the person talking to you about this. I'm Samantha Gregory, and I work with high-functioning, chronically overextended humans who look like they've had their shit together on the outside while everything else is quietly falling apart on the inside. My own story: I was 32 years old. I was on the brink of burnout. I didn't really know it because I was juggling parenthood, school, work, being a good daughter, being a good Christian, and all the things. But it was chronically overloading my system. But I was so used to being in that space that I didn't recognize the signs until one fateful night at the after Thanksgiving sale at Macy's. I was standing in the middle of the store with my best friend, and I just started profusely sweating. And when I tell you drenched, I was drenched. I had to pull off all of my clothes, well, almost. And my best friend was looking at me like, what is happening right now? Are you okay? Because I just could not get cool. So I was all the way down to my camisole, standing in the store, just trying to get some coolness. But my body was rebelling. This went on and off the entire rest of my trip. And when I got home, I made a doctor's appointment, and the test results came back saying that I was in premature ovarian failure. I was 33 at the time of the diagnosis, but the symptoms were piling up little by little. So I went on a journey to heal myself and to figure out first, what are the symptoms? What are they all about? What's causing it? And I started to make sense of everything, putting the pieces of the puzzle together to figure out why my body was in rebellion. I finally figured it out a few years later, and I declared that I was going to practice radical selfishness and self-care. And so now here I am teaching you how to do the same thing. Now, you may not have gone into premature ovarian failure, early menopause, but you may have had a recent visit to the ER. You may have had heart palpitations. You may have been up at 2 a.m. Googling, am I having a heart attack because a panic attack is so severe? That experience completely changed how I understand the body, stress, and what we call mental health. It's why I do what I do now, because nobody should have to learn this stuff in the hard way like I did. I just don't want you to go through that. So these days, my clients are the people everyone comes to, the reliable ones, the ones who've been holding it together for everyone else while their own systems are screaming for help. And what I've learned is that most people don't need more coping skills or productivity hacks. They need to learn how to actually read what their body has been trying to tell them. All right, so let's get into it. So first, let's talk about what nervous system overload actually is, because stress doesn't quite cover it. Your nervous system is basically your body's threat detection and response network. It's constantly taking in information, what you see, hear, feel physically, feel emotionally, who's around you, whether you're safe, and it's deciding, okay, are we safe to relax? Do we need to stay alert? Or do we need to prepare for danger? Overload happens when that system runs beyond its capacity for too long. And here's what's wild. It's not always one big traumatic thing. Mine wasn't. It's often the accumulation of 1,000 smaller things, like mine was. Chronic stress at work, not enough sleep for months, caregiving, grief, pushing through illness, relationship stress, financial pressure, and on and on and on. Just like never, ever getting a break. And when your nervous system maxes out, it doesn't send you a calendar invite that says, hey, we need to talk. It starts sending signals through your body. The problem is, we've been trained our whole lives to ignore these signals, push through them, and call them weaknesses, or just assume it's normal. That's what I was doing. I thought it was just normal because I was used to being stressed. So catching these signs early, that's the difference between I need to make some changes and I physically cannot function anymore. Okay, sign number 1. Your tolerance for normal everyday annoyances just disappears. It's gone. Just like you know how normally you can handle this drawer that doesn't close right, or someone chewing kind of loud, or your partner asking where the scissors are for the 3rd time, suddenly those things make you want to rage quit being human. You snap at people you love, you're replaying tiny interactions for hours like, why did they say that way? You feel this constant irritation just simmering underneath the surface, and honestly, you're exhausted from trying to keep it contained. You are on the verge of a crash out. This isn't you being too sensitive or having an attitude problem. This is your nervous system in conservation mode. When you're running on empty, your brain literally cannot tell the difference between a real threat and someone loading the dishwasher wrong. Everything registers as too much because you don't have the bandwidth to assess what actually matters. So if you notice you're becoming someone you don't recognize, short-tempered, constantly annoyed, apologizing for snapping at people, pay attention. That's not your personality changing. That's your system waving a red flag. And it's up to you to really listen and pay attention. Sign number 2, sleep stops being the thing that helps you recover. This one's insidious because you're exhausted, right? You're so tired. But the second you lie down, your brain starts to highlight reel of everything you did wrong that day, everything you need to do tomorrow, that conversation from 2019 you wish you had handled differently. It's nonstop. Or maybe you fall asleep fine, but you wake up at 3 a.m. with your heart racing. Or you sleep through the night, but wake up feeling like you got hit by a truck. Your dreams are intense, vivid, sometimes disturbing. You never feel rested. Here's what's happening. Sleep is when your nervous system is supposed to process everything, repair, and reset. But when it's overloaded, that processing system glitches. Instead of recovering during sleep, you're just re-experiencing the stress loop, and that is not good. And this is the cruel part. Poor sleep makes every other symptom worse. You're more irritable, more foggy, more physically symptomatic, which keeps you from sleeping well, which makes everything worse. It's just a nightmare. If your sleep has fundamentally changed and none of the normal fixes are working, that's your body telling you something bigger is going on. Number 3, normal sensory input suddenly feels like too much. So you know how you used to be able to go to Target or wherever and just be there. Now it feels like the lights are too bright, there's too much noise, too many people, too much everything. Background conversations you used to tune out are suddenly competing for your attention. Certain textures bother you, smells are overwhelming. Or you may be noticing you're avoiding things you used to enjoy, like concerts and restaurants and social gatherings, because they just feel like sensory assault now. This is hypervigilance. Your nervous system is stuck in threat detection mode, constantly scanning for danger, unable to filter out irrelevant information. So everything demands your attention and processing power that you don't have. You're at full capacity. Nothing else can get in. I remember when this was happening to me, I started only going to the grocery store at like 10 p.m. because it was the only time I could handle it. It was quiet. And I thought I was just becoming antisocial or weird. Nope. Overloaded nervous system. That's what it was. Or I would go early in the morning when no one was there, or in the middle of the day. Just depended. If you're suddenly finding the world is too much in ways you never did before, that's not you becoming fragile. That's a biological signal worth paying attention to. Sign number 4, physical symptoms show up that have no clear medical explanation. That is embarrassing, but it may include tension headaches that don't quit, digestive issues, your heart racing for no reason, muscle pain, dizziness, exhaustion that sleep doesn't even touch, chest tightness, trembling, just your body doing weird things. And here's what usually happens. You go to the doctor, they run tests, everything comes back normal, and you're left feeling like you're making it up or going crazy. But these symptoms are real. They are not just stress or all in your head. What's actually happening is your nervous system is the source. When you don't listen to the subtler warning signs, your body escalates. It starts communicating through physical symptoms because that's the only language left that will get your attention. Hello, early menopause. So yes, absolutely get medical evaluation to rule out other stuff. But if doctors keep finding nothing wrong and you feel awful, your nervous system is probably the thing that needs support. Or it could be hormonal, but we can talk about that in another video. Your body isn't betraying you or being dramatic. It's literally trying to save your life by making you stop. And number 5, your cognitive function just deteriorates. You walk into a room and forget why. You miss appointments, which you never do. You read the same sentence 5 times and still don't know what it says. You're making mistakes at work that feel totally out of character. Tasks that used to be automatic now take enormous effort. And the scariest part, you feel like you're losing yourself. Like, who is this unreliable, forgetful person? This isn't me. This isn't who I am. This is not how I was raised. But it's not early onset dementia or you losing your edge. It's your nervous system prioritizing survival over complex thinking. When your brain perceives threats, even accumulated chronic threat, higher order functions get deprioritized. You lose access to parts of your brain that make you feel competent and like yourself. This one's particularly dangerous because it affects work, relationships, safety. Like, you need your brain to function, man. If you're noticing you become unreliable in ways that don't feel like you, this is a serious warning sign worth addressing. Okay, so if you're sitting here and you are recognizing yourself in multiple signs, here's what I want you to know. First, you're not broken. This is a normal biological response to running beyond your capacity for too long. Your body is designed to respond to threat, and it's just not designed to be in threat mode 24/7 without recovery. Second, start with your primary care doctor, rule out any medical causes, get referrals for mental health support or specialty care if you need it. There's no shame in needing help. In fact, reaching out before you're in complete crisis gives you way more options. And listen, if you're experiencing any of these, get help immediately. Severe chest pain or trouble breathing, fainting or losing time, thoughts of harming yourself or others, feeling like you can't keep yourself safe. Those are emergency situations. For everyone else, early intervention matters. What feels manageable now can become a crisis later if you keep ignoring it. And I know it's tempting to think you can just push through or optimize your way out, but you can't willpower your way out of nervous system dysregulation. It doesn't work that way. Recognizing these symptoms doesn't mean you're weak or failing. It means you've been strong for too long without enough support, and your body is trying to get you to participate in your own survival. These aren't character flaws to overcome, it's data. Your system giving you feedback that something needs to change. So if this is landing for you, I want you to do something really simple right now. Just pause and notice what's actually true in your body. Not what you wish were true, not what you think should be true, what is true. Where are you holding tension? What hurts? What feels off? You don't get bonus points for suffering longer or pushing harder. You get your life back by learning to read these signals and actually respond to them before they become a crisis. If this resonated with you, subscribe for more real talk about nervous system stuff, trauma, and what recovery actually looks like when you strip away all the toxic positivity. And if you're recognizing yourself in these signs, please reach out for help. You don't have to figure this out alone, and you definitely don't have to wait until you're in complete breakdown mode. I have plenty of resources in the description box, but more than anything, take care of yourself. Your nervous system's been working overtime to take care of you. Return the favor. Thanks for being here.